Alright, hi again everyone. I've got a little progress here. So I've got the MOSFETs running on the heat sinks with the fans going, the center tapped yoke transformer, the push-pull circuit run up to those transistors. I've got this running around 36 kilohertz. Start off ringing around 110 kilohertz, but with the right tuning was able to bring it down. Well, I was trying to keep it up higher actually, but the tuning kept getting stronger as I went down and down. So right here is a 110 volt, it's gotta be about a close to 100 watt bulb. So I've got the Tesla style oscillator on this side running, but it's really not having much effect with or without right now, so I'll have to be, tune the primary and maybe even use a different circuit, because it's just not ringing low enough to match the frequency on the output where the push-pull is driving the bifilar wound series connected coil here, acting as primary for the secondary, which is this multiple step output coil. So yeah, it's going very good. Moved away from the LEDs to the more big boy style light. So that is pretty nice. So basically I've got 122 volts. That's actually pretty easily tunable with the small adjustment screw here, but otherwise it was doing about 85 volts across the load, and switching from this choke to now this choke, all of a sudden 136 volts started coming out across the load. So turned that down to where I could achieve around 120 volts, 115 volts. And I don't think the grid spits it out at 33 kilohertz, 37 kilohertz I guess. Yeah, so pretty nice. And depending on what frame you're looking at, you start to find these weird patterns. It's not doing much right now, but it had been doing this sequencing and phasing. It's pretty interesting. But to find the true wave here, yeah, would be at 37 kilohertz. So now to try to tune down the Tesla coil and see if anything happens to this light or the amount of current that we're drawing. So yeah, that's about all I've got right now. Turns out the inductance on the output coil here was about 478 microhenries, and then just from trial and error tuning, wound up with these capacitors in 10 nano and 1 nano increments, and wound up with about 47 nanofarads. And that was exactly what the calculator ended up telling me. So yeah, there's, in a way you can figure out how to tune it based on trial and error, but much more caps than this and I would have ran out, so Oh, so then I've got a full wave rectifier to this capacitor, and being that we've got about 120 or so volts across the AC light, we just happen to have, just a sec here. $197 volts DC in this capacitor here. So that, I guess, is intended to feed back to the input, although it's coming out a bit high of a voltage. And so the input, just a sec here. Sorry about that. So, anyway, we'll try to clean this up a bit. But I'm pretty excited to see that kind of output across an incandescent light. So now the idea would be to either filter and run the AC, which is across this load, back to the input where this AC is coming in, because this deal here is basically just a rectifier, so it takes main power coming in from the grid and puts out, in this case, 24 volts. So could have got the 12 volt model, except I saw in some Rustland schematic that it was a 24 volt, so I ended up getting that. But just having dumb luck finding the number of turns and trying to find out what kind of voltage is going to come out of it, looks like 24 volts hitting the circuit, and the primary on the center tap push-pull guy. Looks like that was really a good thing to drive that with 24 volts, otherwise I'd have half this power coming out, I'm guessing. So, pretty stable. And pretty clean. So right now we'll have to get the Tesla coil tuned up. What's neat is this ferrite, because basically unless you wound a new secondary, how are you supposed to get a lower frequency out of it? Or unless I made that copper at the end a lot thicker, but that's not going to happen. So basically adding ferrite to the core would be the only way to bring up inductance to lower the frequency. And then if we watch the little feedback light on the Slayer exciter circuit, you can watch it kind of get affected with the tuning of this. So, little ways to go, and still gonna build those IC boards, but that's not my strong point, so mainly just the tuning is what I can control right now. So talk to you guys next time.